And I'm joined here by Ryan McDonald. Ryan, what a game at Celtic Park last night. Did Martin O'Neill have one of these for the goals?
Old classic joystick. I mean, it was another magical night at Celtic Park last night. The Champions League anthem really set the tone at the start. You know that famous roar, and Celtic fans have been yearning for that for the past year, and it was Celtic were pretty sensational. I thought obviously LASK gave Celtic an early scare with that disallowed goal. I think it was inside 28 seconds. There was a panic stations for maybe the first 10 minutes. I think Cameron Carter Vickers get left for dust as well. With the big American bulldozer up front, beating for pace and went one on one with Sinisalo and dragged his shot wide of the post. But I think gradually Celtic, they gradually grew into the game and began to assert themselves, especially in the middle of the park. I thought Cal McGregor did quite well to get a grip of the engine room. And when LASK were, they were threading through some nice balls and they were taking play over nicely. There was a couple of boys in the middle of the park there that were causing Celtic issues as well. But I thought that Celtic really came alive. We'll probably touch upon it, but Benjamin Negrin's goal really was excellent. It was something that I think Celtic fans have just become accustomed to seeing from Benjamin Negrin, especially this season. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time. It was a kind of basic cross ball from Kieran Tierney, which LASK failed to deal with. It fell perfectly for Benjamin Negrin in the edge of the penalty area, and he just was absolutely rifled at home. And I think that really settled the nerves for Celtic. And obviously, Camilo Duran shortly afterwards, an absolute screamer of a volley. I don't think any keeper in world football saving that. It was an
Oh, it's
absolute.
almost in the same place as well, like right in the edge
Yeah,
of the ball, same kind
yeah.
of strike,
And
bang.
you know how good a goal like that is when by the crowd's reaction, the noise. It wasn't a typical celebration from the fans. It was like a whoa kind of moment. It was. I don't think anybody was expecting him to hit it so sweetly, and
Mm.
it was such a clean strike. And as I say, I don't think any keeper in football's keeping that out the back of the net. So Duran, he was excellent. He's been excellent for the past couple of weeks. To be fair, at Kilmarnock getting assists, he smashed the crossbar. At Tannadice, he obviously opened his goal account, and then last night, I think that was really. I think Duran is going to be a superstar in the making. That was really, I think he laid down a marker there. This guy scored 5 goals in the Champions League for Karabag last season, and you know what, if Celtic make it this year, you probably wouldn't put it past him hitting kind of similar heights. He was absolutely outstanding. I mean, attacking wise, he was just a constant threat, but defensively as well, Angus, there was a point where he made a lung busting run back, probably must have been about 75, 80 minutes to help out Colby Donovan, and the stadium just rose to their feet and just gave him a standing ovation, a huge round of applause. He was just outstanding. He was electric from start to finish, and Celtic have got a real player in their hands there, a real player. I don't like pushing players out the door before when they've only just arrived. But for me, this boy is going to be the next £30 million player to leave Scottish football. I can see him going on to become to reach a real high level.
I think Martin O'Neill was saying, I don't want to call him a world class player, but he was put in a world class performance. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very rare that Martin O'Neill, being an old school manager he is, dishes out such kind of praise to any of his players. I don't think even he's quite reluctant to even do it with Henrik Larsson back in the day at times as well, and definitely a very own Chris Sutton. But it was a performance of the highest caliber for me. It was outstanding. He just ran riot, and the thing is as well, Angus, you need to remember he isn't even playing his best position at the minute. His best position is as a striker, and he's playing out wide right to accommodate Casper who probably didn't have the best of games, but still he's such a kind of focal point up front. He worked his socks off, and I think he just links up play pretty well as well. His hold up play really gave Celtic an outlet. to move forward with, and obviously he was involved in the third goal as well, which Camilo Duran expertly put away. So I think overall you just see the difference in quality from this time last year, where they were powder puff up front against Carrie Almaty, to now where they've got proven Champions League goal scorers, and that was the difference. I said it last night before the game, that would be the difference.
When
I'm
you
still
look back at that as well, looking at that kind of nightmare for Celtic, you look at the importance of recruitment. When you look at just these two signings that Celtic have made, how much they've raised the mood at Celtic Park as well, and that will have just solidified it.
Yeah, they've totally galvanised the club. The mood music's completely changed, and that's what happens when you spend money in quality. I think the only money Celtic spent on a striker last season was £1.5 million in Shin Yamada, and they were relying on him to bail Brendan Rodgers' side out of a trouble against Kerry Almaty last year. And then you look at the team that they fielded last night. I thought even with Arnie Engels obviously gone and Alistair Johnson injured, it was still a really strong lineup. Mika Bauer in the middle of the park as well. He obviously made his full debut, and I thought it was really impressive. He covered some amount of grass. I think he covered probably every blade of grass last night. He was everywhere. He was unlucky with a couple of shots at target as well. He was creative. He was a bundle of energy, and you need to remember, as I said, he's not really played much at all this summer or pre-season. But early impressions, he looks a real find as well. So Celtic are ticking along nicely, and it was one of their kind of best European performances in a while. I look back at obviously that campaign when Celtic beat Leipzig and went toe to toe with Bayern Munich. So you're looking, that's probably up there with that type of performance. And I think that if they can just continue to sprinkle a wee bit of quality into this squad, we spoke about it last night, I think they definitely need another midfielder in the ilk of Arnie Engels. They need cover at left back. I think they still need a winger, and obviously need a second goalkeeper there as well. So if they can add 3 or 4 additional quality signings, then I think Celtic are going to be in a really, really good place, and certainly domestically, I don't think there's anybody that can stop them.
Yeah, of course, at the start of a new season, you'll see teams growing into the way the manager wants, the way that their stars can produce. We've been talking about certain aspects of Celtic's game that have kind of put, not red flags, but put up some things to look at. There was 2 moments in that game where the offside flag, rightly offside flags, but that goal right at the start, had the Celtic fans maybe sweating just for a second until the goals went in. But do you think that this side's starting to grow into what Martin O'Neill is wanting from this side?
Yeah, I mean, last season, I think most people would say it was a bit of a chore to watch Celtic at times. Clearly, they came alive at the end of the season, and they put a win run together of 7 games, which helped them win the league, and then obviously the additional 2 games in the Scottish Cup to complete a double. So I think the adrenaline got them through that period. But you look at now, I mean, it's when you compare to last season, the amount of last minute goals that they'd scored, I think a lot of games this season are going to be done and dusted quite early, especially if they can keep Duran and Casper Hu injury free throughout the course of the campaign. I think that's the key to it, and I think that's what Martin O'Neill said as well. Because if you get these boys fit and firing, then, as I say, I don't really think there's anybody in Scotland that'll be able to live with that front line. So I think, that definitely you can definitely see signs of progress. I still think defensively they're vulnerable. I'm a bit concerned about Cameron Carter-Vickers. He came on to a game last night. I thought he was imperious, especially in the second half. He made some vital blocks. He was dominant in there as he usually is, but that opening 10 minutes, as I said, I just worry that he might have lost a yard of pace after this Achilles injury. He was really caught for pace, and obviously it was for the disallowed goal. It was a simple ball over the top, and he get caught flat-footed, and Obviously, the boy rifled at home, and then again, there was that opportunity a few moments later when he simply get outrun, and Celtic were let off the hook. But I think if you're talking about defensive players, I thought Kobe Donovan coming in at right back. Obviously, Duran will get all the headlines and probably Negrin as well, but Donovan was excellent at right back. That was a real coming of age performance. I think I was watching him last night, and I was saying to my colleague that I couldn't believe we're watching a boy that's only 19 years old. I did think that, and I mentioned it, but I think that Donovan last season performed really well at the European stage. He started and played just about all the Europa League games. But it's a different level playing at Champions League against the best team in Austria, and I thought he was excellent. It was a total all action display. He combined really well with Camilo Duran down the right as well. He played one diag in particular, which was absolutely exquisite. It was a worldie of a ball.
I was going to say his distribution was excellent last night.
Yeah, Celtic couldn't quite execute it, but he was outstanding, and I think if Alistair Johnson is undergoing scans today to find out the full extent of his injury, I think there's a fear that he could be out for another extended period of time. But if Kobe Donovan can continue to produce those sort of performances, then I think Celtic have got a really able deputy there. Another thing is as well, Angus, is the fact that Celtic and Rangers, and I suppose all clubs in Scotland, get criticised for not having a pathway for young academy players to reach the first team. And they have created this pathway for Kobe Donovan, and he sees his opportunity with both hands. He's even pushed Anthony Ralston out of the picture as well. Ralston's 27 years old, and he's never really let Celtic down. He's a kind of really solid player, but I think Donovan, especially going forward, just gives you that bit more. And he really looked the part last night. He was excellent. I think he pulled up a wee bit of cramp towards the end, which is fair enough, because he ran his heart out. So yeah, I think that was encouraging. Kieran Tierney on the other side obviously had a part to play in two of the goals as well. So yeah, Celtic are really ticking, and it's just a case of between now and the end of the window, if they can add more quality, I think that's what Martin will certainly be wanting. And yeah, in terms of next week as well, Angus, we've seen so many times Celtic throwing away leads and costly blunders and putting themselves under unnecessary pressures. They can be the architects of their own downfall at times, and I think Celtic they can't afford to concede early over there in Austria. I think that's an absolute must. Obviously, if they can get that early goal, then that should pretty much see them through. But they need to keep the back door closed for certainly the first 20 minutes, because LASK were a real threat last night. I think we all saw that. And on another night, they could and probably should have scored. So there was certainly warning signs there for Celtic. I don't think by any manner of means that this tie is completely over. I don't think Martin O'Neill or his dressing room will think it's over. But I think you couldn't have asked for a better scoreline heading over to LASK for this second leg. It was just exactly what Martin O'Neill could have ordered.